The story of Job. Now, before I begin, let me just say that many people are under the impression that God one day, out of the blue, sent Satan to attack Job and to take away his wealth, his family, to destroy his health. That is not true. And we will see why. It happened to him, but God didn't do it. Okay? Now let's start in the first chapter of Job. And I would that everyone would read the entire book of Job for yourself. It is a very good lesson to learn, a very good spiritual lesson, a very good moral lesson, and a very good lesson on friendship. So please read the entire book for yourselves. Okay? Now, starting with verse 6, the first chapter of Job. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Now, that word whence, that carries a two-part meaning. It means, from where are you coming from? And for what reason are you here? So God asked Satan, he said, Whence comest thou? Continuing in verse 7, Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth. He said where he was coming from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Now he did not say that's deception. That's how Satan is. He's a deceiver. He told where he came from and what he was doing, but he never said why he was there. And that's what God asked him, and he knew that God asked him. Verse 8, And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job? Now God knew that Satan came there because he had considered Job. But he did not tell God. But God, knowing everything, he let him know that he knew that's why he was there. Continue listening. Okay, he asked him, he said, Hast thou considered my servant Job? And then God went on to tell about Job, to show what a great man Job was. Listen to what God said about Job, that there is none like him in the earth. Now that's a powerful statement. He said there is none like him in the earth. He didn't say in the east, the north, south, west. He said in the earth that there was none like him. I'm continuing. He said a perfect man, a perfect and upright man. Wow. God called him a perfect and upright man. And you know what that means? That means a blameless man. He is blameless. And that's what we must work toward. I've been hearing it since I was a little girl. People would always say, no one's perfect. We've all sinned. And you know, as an adult, you hear, well, we've all sinned and come short of glory. Don't tell yourself that. Tell yourself, urge yourself to walk blameless before God. Because when you walk blameless before God, you are stating that you know the difference between right and wrong, and you're not going to compromise. You're not going to say, well, everybody sins, and then know that something is wrong to do, or know a certain lifestyle is wrong to live, but do it anyway. That's blank. You're blamed for that. But Job was blameless, which meant he made a conscious decision to not do anything against God, to not do anything wrong, to not do anything evil. That evil is not, as Hollywood show it, some monstrous looking thing with stuff oozing out of him. Evil is a man in his natural state that has not been born again. An evil man is a man that has not been born again. So that person can pretty much do whatever comes at him or whatever the world offers him to do. But a man that knows God will stray away, will avoid doing evil. Okay? You can't avoid doing evil in your natural state. Whether anybody know about it or not, you may appear to your family and co-workers and friends and even church friends as being a nice person. But it's other ways that evil is carried out. Okay, so therefore, let me get back. He told him that he was a perfect and upright man. He said, one that feareth God. See, he feared God. He loved God. He feared him. He had the highest respect for him, and he did not want to sin against him. He said, a man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. See, escheweth mean to avoid. He avoid evil. Okay, verse 9. Then Satan answered the Lord, and listen what Satan said. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doeth Job fear you for naught? He said, do he fear you for nothing? Look at what he caught on to. God said a lot about Job. But Satan knew that Job feared God. And Satan knew that Job had the highest respect for God. So he zeroed in on that and asked God, does he fear you for nothing? Listen, verse 10. Has not thou made an hedge about him? How did Satan know that God made a hedge about Job? How did Satan know that God put a hedge around Job? Okay, and about his house and about all that he had on every side. That's what Satan is saying. He said, has thou not made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he has on every side? How would Satan know that God did that? Unless Satan came at Job to attack him. But God had a hedge around Job. So that's why Satan came among the sons of God to get permission, if you would, to attack Job. Satan always did come up with a way to try to gain control, but he always did it in a deceptive way. He came among them, but he never came when God asked him, whence cometh thou? Where are you coming from, and why are you here? He never said, I'm here to get permission to attack Job. You have a hedge around him. I tried to attack him, but I can't because you have that hedge. Can you please remove that hedge so I can get at him? He couldn't. He didn't say that. He didn't. A murderer that has all sorts of forensic evidence against him will go to court and still plead not guilty. Still try to say that he did not commit that murder or any crime, a criminal period. Deception. Okay, and so then listen, he said, this is Satan still speaking. Now listen what he's saying to God. Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. He knew that God had blessed the work of his hand. When God blessed the works of your hands, you don't need to sell yourself out and say, oh, well, sex sells, and do everything that will corrupt young children and whatever, just to make money. If you trust God, if you fear God, if you want to walk blameless before him, you will put out work that is not disgusting in the eyes of God nor man. And God will bless the work of your hands. You don't have to sell yourself out to do that. Okay, now that's Satan saying that, telling God that he increased the substance of throughout the land. And listen, verse 11. This is Satan still talking to God. But put forth your hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse you to your face. Now Satan told God, take away everything that he has now, and he will curse you to your face. Okay, that was Satan's way of saying, let me take his stuff. You think he love you so much? You think he fear you so much? Allow me to take his stuff, and let's see will he still love you. Let's see will he still fear you. Verse 12. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Okay? It's in your hand. He was saying in your power, in your hand. All that he hath is in your hand. Only upon himself, only upon him, his person, only upon himself, put not forth your hand. He said, don't touch him. You can have it all that he hath, but don't touch him. Okay? So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. Satan went forth to attack Job. God gave him permission. And now we're going to find out why God gave Satan permission to attack Job. But God never thought of it on his own to have Satan to go and attack Job. Okay? This is the end of part 1. Join me for part 2, where we will see why did God allow Satan to attack Job. Thank you.